Okay, so are you ready to really dive deep into this question that I think plagues every language learner at some point?
Oh, yeah.
What is the hardest part of learning English?
Mm.
I mean, if you've ever just sat there staring at a textbook like, what is this? Or stumbled over a pronunciation and felt completely lost,
Yeah,
this is for you.
absolutely.
And to kind of walk us through this maze, we have an amazing expert here with us today.
I'm excited to be here.
So I'm just going to come out and ask you straight up.
Okay.
A lot of us just kind of assume everything's hard about learning English, right?
Right.
But is there actually one single thing that learners consistently say this is the worst?
Well, it's so tempting to just say it depends, right? Because
Right.
everyone's experience is so different. But,
Sure.
when you look at the research
Yeah.
and just anecdotal evidence from people who are learning English, there are definitely some patterns that emerge.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's hear it. What are those trouble spots?
Well, pronunciation is a big one. A lot of people say that that's one of the trickiest things. And it's not even just the individual sounds.
Yeah.
It's how those sounds work together,
Oh.
in words and sentences.
Right.
Stress, intonation, rhythm, all of that plays a part.
Right, I can see that. I mean, I remember spending an embarrassingly long time trying to figure out how to make the thump sound.
Mm,
My tongue just did not want to cooperate. And
yeah.
don't even get me started on trying to hear the difference between ship and sheep.
Oh, yeah.
I sounded like a lost sheep.
That's a classic.
But I guess those subtle distinctions can actually really change the meaning, right?
Absolutely. And think about bat versus bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's just one little sound change,
Right.
but the meaning is completely different.
Totally. So is the key to getting better at pronunciation just to mimic native speakers as much as possible?
I mean, mimicking can definitely help,
Okay.
but I think it's really important to understand the mechanics of how we make sounds.
Okay.
Learning about where to put your tongue, how to shape your mouth,
Hmm.
even how to use your breath. That can make a huge difference.
So it's like you're learning the physical choreography of how to make the sounds.
Yeah, and once you've got those fundamentals down,
Right.
you can build your pronunciation skills much more systematically.
That's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is where having a good teacher or a tutor would be really helpful.
Absolutely. Someone who can give you really specific feedback and help you fine-tune those tricky sounds.
Right. Okay, so let's move on to the big bad wolf of English learning grammar.
Mm.
Is it really as terrifying as people make it out to be?
English grammar can definitely feel overwhelming sometimes,
Okay.
especially if your native language has a really different structure.
Right.
But I don't know if I'd call it terrifying.
Okay, you've got to tell me more.
Well, think of it this way. English grammar is like a puzzle
Okay.
with lots of different pieces, and it does take time and patience
Yeah.
to figure out how they fit together. But once you start to see the patterns and the logic behind it, it
Yeah.
becomes way less intimidating.
So it's more about understanding the why behind the rules rather than just memorizing a bunch of stuff.
Exactly. If you understand the concept of verb tenses,
Oh, okay.
past, present, future, that can really transform how you build sentences.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
And speaking of complexity, we've got to talk about phrasal verbs.
Oh, yeah.
These are like the little devils that trip up even advanced learners. I
Absolutely.
mean, look into.
And so many,
There's so many variations.
right.
Do you have any advice for how to deal with that chaos?
Well, phrasal verbs are a great example of how English borrows and adapts from other languages.
Okay.
You get these unique combinations that are sometimes a little unpredictable.
Mhm.
I think the best way to approach them is to just learn them as individual units of meaning.
Oh,
Don't try to break them down too much.
got it.
Just learn them in context.
Okay. So read a lot,
Mhm.
listen to podcasts, watch movies, expose yourself to natural English, and you'll
Yeah.
kind of absorb them.
Yes, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that brings us to our final boss vocabulary.
Oh, boy.
I mean, English has such a massive vocabulary,
It does.
and there's always a new word to learn.
Always.
How on earth do you even begin to tackle that?
Well, I think the best place to start is with what we call the core vocabulary.
Okay.
These are the most common words that people use in everyday conversations and writing.
Right.
So you want to build a really solid foundation with those words.
Yeah.
And then gradually expand your vocabulary through reading and listening.
So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to use tools like a dictionary or a thesaurus.
Yeah.
Those can be really helpful. And pay attention to word families, words that have the same root or prefix
Mm.
that can help you figure out the meanings of new words.
Oh, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
Okay, this has honestly been so helpful.
Oh, good.
It's so much better than just being told, yeah, English is hard, good luck. So before we wrap up, is there one final thought you would leave our listeners with?
Don't get discouraged.
Uh,
Learning a language takes time and effort,
it really does.
but it's so rewarding. Embrace the process, celebrate your progress, and never stop exploring.
I love that. That's a great message to end on. And remember, every mistake is just a chance to learn something new.
That's right.
So keep practicing, keep experimenting, and keep diving deep into the world of English.
Have fun with it.
You got this.
You do.
Okay, see you next time for another deep dive.
Bye.